Ryan. All right, push on the button.
Okay.
Welcome back. Awesome. Happy birthday to you. Our guests are talking in the other room. Welcome back, Mrs. Ryan. It's the
Holy
birthday
cow.
show. It's
Hello.
your birthday. Yay! Welcome back. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mrs. Ryan. It's a big one for you.
Oh, yeah. Nice and done.
That was unintentional. It's a big one. It's a big one. How you feeling?
Older.
Yeah, good for you. You look fantastic.
Thank you.
Welcome back, Mrs. Ryan. Welcome back, everybody else, to the old late night playset. My name is Jay Ryan. This is Nicole Ryan. And we're back. We're back. It's been a 2-week hiatus from us since the Porsche Experience Center shows, and feeling rusty. I know
Feels like
I am.
forever. Hi, guys.
I feel like a lifetime has occurred since then. All right, well, hang on.
Yeah.
All right, first of all, today is Tuesday, December 3rd, 2019. That is Mrs. Ryan's birthday, as we just covered. Our guests this evening are the hosts of, the Crazy Funny Asianz Podcast, but they do a lot of other things. Lukas Seely and Erick Esteban are here today. We just met them in the other room. Delightful gentlemen. Had a nice long talk
guys.
with one and just a brief one with the other, and just really cool guys. Looking forward to getting them in here. In the meantime, Mrs. Ryan, there are things to do, including it's your birthday. This is not from me, but it was a delivery that arrived. So you go ahead and take that down there and do whatever you will with it.
right.
And I will see if I have some announcements to make over here or not. I can't remember. Let's see. Well, there's you doing that. That's kind of entertaining in itself.
Unboxing.
Let's see. I have notes for the hellos. We had the hiatus. That was a heck of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Meetings, phone conference call, all sorts of stuff. New equipment. Holy cow! When we left you, we were talking about new equipment. Uh-oh. Here we go. There we go. Oh my.
So there's cookies.
Yeah, beautiful big cookies
Fondant.
there. There looks to be a card.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Here, you go ahead. Is there anything else in that box? I'll get your card out. Then you should have prepped this, I guess, ahead of time. Sorry about that. Oh, this is easier than I thought it would be. Here you go. Oh, jeez. Cookies are falling into my lap.
There's a brownie. Whoever said I love.
Palm tree cookies. There you go.
I love whoever. This is.
Is that not the
really-
card?
It's from Daria and the Mojitos.
Daria 222 and the mojitos.
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 Mojitos. I don't know.
Montijo.
Montijo. Oh.
Oh, that's
guys,
so lovely.
It's really,
the
really
Montijos.
awesome.
To our lovely Nicole, wishing you the best birthday and lots of good days this year and always. You are so loved, the Montijos. It is totally true. That is just beautiful, you guys. Daria, if
Love
some
you
of you may
guys.
remember,
Thank you.
if you've watched this show for a very, very long time, you may remember that Daria has actually been a guest a couple times. Both
Yeah.
on the old Life with the Ryans and, I don't know, It's Tonight Show, Late Night, whatever. All this stuff. How nice is that? Good for you, Mrs. Ryan.
She was my landlord. I feel the
I
need to
always
always
forget that.
say that. She was my landlord.
That's how you guys met, and she found you on Instagram through the Porsche Life. And
We
your
were
stuff.
somewhat connected through algorithms
Because her
on
husband
Instagram.
has a Porsche.
Has a
So he
Porsche.
said, she looks familiar to me. I think she used to live in my old, which was a 111 Croft.
222.
Oh, 222.
She was the 222 apartment.
Oh, so that's where her 222 comes from, in the Daria 222?
Yeah.
That's a riot.
Yeah.
That's
Doheny.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. All right.
You guys
so,
are awesome. Thank you. And I'm going to eat those cookies so happily.
New equipment. When we left you last, we were talking about it. Oh my gosh, it was the best/worst week ever. I don't want to talk about it too long because we've got some other things to do. But so many technical difficulties. We determined that there were just glitches. Nothing was going wrong. There were just glitches in our system because it's all iOS and things are all different ages. And what we did is we went ahead and got the new MacBook Pro. We got the new iPad Pro. We've got some new equipment that is going to make the show more stable, which is fantastic. we still need to get new iPhones, which will do all of that too. So that's in the works. It's coming. It's coming.
Next steps.
Yeah, I think
Here we go.
Probably the Christmas hiatus maybe for that one.
Oh.
Your birthday, we covered that, and something I do have here, but I want to bring that up during your news. Okay, Mrs. Ryan, time to do a quick East Coast feed. Very, very quick.
Awesome.
There are many through the week because, of course, we're backed up. But real quick, let's just check in. Danbury Chive, and I believe we're at Ridgefield BMW, back there in Ridgefield, Connecticut. Roll it, Hal.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Ryan. I'm here with Kenny, as usual. What's up, Kenny? And it's a wonderful November day. I'm wearing my good short sleeve M shirt at work, but I don't know if you can see it behind me, but it's snowing. It started snowing like a squall out of nowhere, and it's nice out. They're like sun and snow and East Coast feed, baby. This is how we do it. Random snow. It's November. Woo!
All right, so backstory on that, of course, is that we were here 2 weeks ago when it was still November, and there was a, in addition, all the technical jumbles and whatever. Remember we tried to play an East Coast feed and it wouldn't play and whatever on the Jeff Swartz show? That was the one, so that was why it's so old and snow in November, blah, blah, blah.
Cass.
I don't think it's his
Glad
fault.
we got the video.
My point being that snow seemed impressive at the time. We have a video to play today of our time up in the snow, and oh man, it blows us away. I do want to check in with one last thing before we play the video, Mrs. Ryan. We have to, I think I'm still going to push the button, right? All right, we decided that. We're calling audible. We're running it on the.
I will take full ownership.
Play it.
I am distracted. It's my birthday, and I do not have my head on all the way.
I'm loving you. Oh, it's the greatest. You're the best. What were you going to say? It's your birthday.
I'm distracted and ruining everything.
I think
so
it's making
sorry.
everything fantastic. I think the more the tighter I try to hold on to this thing, the more it strangles the show. The more loose it is, the better people enjoy it. Okay, Mrs. Ryan, I am holding up the Dave Watch calendar. It is time to check in with Dave Watch, everybody. Today is December 3rd, Mrs. Ryan's birthday. That is why there's a square. I am going to put an X. X gets the square. Unfortunately, you don't win Hollywood squares, but what we do is we denote that Mr. David Letterman is not sitting in that chair. However, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to stop doing the Dave Watch soon because we're actually making progress. Mrs. Ryan, what can we say? I'll just hand it over to you. Where are we with Dave Watch?
Where are we? So much has happened since our last show. I don't know necessarily always where to jump in, but the crux is that this will probably happen. He knows the story, and it's as intriguing a mystery to him as it is to everyone and us and whatever. I think my personal gut is that he's still wrapping his head around all this. So there's so much happening. So there's not a ton to say, but it's all in the works.
Right. We're going to meet with the guy. Can we say that?
Yeah, probably soon. Yeah.
Yeah. And then from there, we only see good things happening because this is all above board. We know it's all true. We know it's all, you know what I mean? Like this only, if they're interested now, it only gets better.
Yeah. There is so much love and momentum is on this. It's a tremendous ride.
Means the world to me. I don't often check in with Mrs. Ryan because I can't have that on my, it's been in my mind for 25 years or whatever it's been, so I can't really think about it anymore. She's doing all of this. She's making it happen behind the scenes. I'm just staying here at the desk. That was our agreement. So December 3rd, there is an X denoting that Mr. David Letterman is not sitting in that chair. However, we feel that he will be sitting here very soon. I don't know if it will be on this calendar or not, but I'm pretty excited about it. Can't wait to have that conversation.
Me too.
All right, last thing I have to do, Mrs. Ryan. Oh my gosh, we're so late. All right, do you want it? Should we do it? We'd have to do it today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We have a video from the other day when we went up to Breakfast Club, and it was Black Friday. I think we'll just call it that. Black Friday. Roll it, Hal. This is why I did not clean the car today. Woohoo! river and through the woods. Right? We're doing it. Giving it a go. We made it up here. It was not easy. But some Carrera 4s made it up as well. There's Aaron, Dan Brun, Totes McGold is down there. Rami made it up. And a bunch of trucks and four-wheel drives. One's trying to get the other one out. Yeah. Yeah, right. See how much further. Some Breakfast Club. It was White Friday, and not how that in the good way, in the beautiful, snowy. It's Black Friday for everybody else. It sounds awful. We're leaving Newcomb's. It was awesome. I can't believe that there was actually a turnout. 7 Porsches, 8 Porsches, something like that. We're gonna get out of here and try to get out safely. The roads are not good. See you down there. Halfway down, and now we're stopped. Hopefully this person will stop too. Yes, okay, good. Not the best conditions. In fact, that's probably why we're stopped. Hi, Mrs. Ryan. We can't exactly see. Maybe you can see. Anything? Welcome back, Mrs. Ryan.
That was such a fun morning, mister.
I know the video's kind of long, but it was just like, I don't care. It was so fun. It never is like that up there. You know, not that snowy anyway. Not
it
for
was
us.
Gorgeous and spectacular. That whole thing. I'm so impressed with you driving up there. Like,
you're not the only person who said that, and I will take it. I really appreciate it. I'll take the praise. It's not hard for me. You saw it. It was easy as pie.
We grew up in the East Coast. Like, that's how we learned to drive.
That's how you would go.
Weather.
Yes, exactly.
So but you're still really good at it.
That.
You're still really good at driving.
I'm
not.
I'll take it. I think you're awesome. Awesome, awesome. And how pretty did you look there on your birthday breakfast club? Pretty nice.
Aren't we adorable today?
Yeah, I think we are. I think you are especially. Mrs. Ryan, I've gone on and on and on. It's time for a quick news, if it's all right. It's time to ask the question that's on everyone's mind. What's going on, Mrs. Ryan?
My truncated news. There was, Thanksgiving for everyone. Friendsgiving for people that aren't like around their family all the time is a thing. Friendsgiving.
Yeah.
I used to do it all the time before I was married and had the love of my life present in my world.
Aww.
But as this grandmother in Phoenix, Arizona, texted someone she thought was her grandson like 4 years ago, and it was not him. It was just some random guy.
Yeah, I remember this. I remember this a couple years ago when it was happening.
They've continued the tradition and now have had 4 Thanksgivings together. Where
This
it's
is the 4th.
This is the 4th one, and the pictures are great. I'm going to put one up. It's hilarious. Like, Wanda's the woman, and she's like, that's what grandmas do. We feed people. Like, come over anyway.
Yeah, I love it.
It made his whole world, and it just made me love Thanksgiving.
I love it, too. I love all those stories. I don't know how many of them are true or not. This one I think is true. But, there's one about, somebody died and somebody would still text the number every day. And then, after 2 years, eventually they got a response back or something. And they're like, I've been getting your... whatever. We don't have time for this.
I don't know that one.
Really? I'm going to send it to you then. It's kind of nice. Somebody died and they've been sending messages to call it their sister. I'm making that up, but call it their sister. And they would send these messages to the sister every year or whatever, however, whenever the person thought of them. And of course, as it happens in time, the phone numbers change and eventually that phone number becomes someone else's. So that person was receiving texts for a long time, not responding, and then eventually one day responded. And the response was something to the effect of, wow, I lost somebody too. Your texts have helped me get through the whole thing. They ended up meeting in the whole thing. I don't know if it's true or not. And I totally just took your thing, and I'm sorry. But I love those
You know
stories.
what? It's all good vibes shared at weird moments of technology and kerfluffles that end up being really amazing. And that to me is what life's about. So kudos to Phoenix and keeping that tradition going.
And to you for bringing up that story.
Thanks. I'm going to talk about this other one tomorrow. Brad Pitt and Anthony Hopkins tomorrow. I love them. But there was a dog in Florida that drove a car backward for an hour.
Oh, gosh, hilarious. I saw that. Yeah. What happened was the dog apparently, supposedly, or you go ahead.
The owner left the car, started the car and had left the car on, and the dog ended up putting it in reverse, is what I read.
Yeah, the car was in neutral or whatever instead of park or something like that. So there was no lock or whatever, and the dog just knocked it in. Even if it wasn't parked, somehow the dog knocked it in, and just the car was going in circles and circles, taking out mailboxes and everything. Luckily, it was just sort of on a cul-de-sac, looked like thing. But was it police? Was it police? A cop came?
A cop came because and they
ended up
reckless driver.
Yeah, taking out the neighborhood.
And they opened the door. The dog just got out and was like, whatever.
I'm so happy. I love the video.
I love it.
Let's do it again.
Thanksgiving fun all around. Lastly, speaking of animals, though, Dubai is treating camels like horses.
Haven't they always?
Okay, well, maybe they have. I did not know this. It was groundbreaking to me.
Sorry, maybe not in Dubai. I think of the Middle East. I think of every movie I've ever seen when they're riding camels.
UAE, the country, is
and they race camels, don't they?
Yeah, and apparently you
are
far more knowledgeable about this than I am.
Nope.
But there's a $10 million facility now in Dubai because they're showing so much appreciation and love for these animals that are enormous.
Oh, wow.
And they're being treated like racehorses, basically. So there's not a lot of places that have the technology and the capability to do big animal explorations like that.
This is totally off your story, but there's someone that we are trying to get as a guest on this show as well, who's also an industry person, who I think probably did some research in the beginning, got to our guy, and our guy said, "Oh, I don't think that story's true. It sounds like whatever." So whatever, Daniel Kellison. Okay, I'll just say it. Daniel Kellison, we've been trying to get on for a long time, and I think he may be one of the people that whatever the heck. All I'm trying to say is, if you can get Daniel Kellison here, so much for brevity. Good grief. He has a fantastic story. I've always wanted to hear from him about how he booked Sir. Who is it? It's It's not Sir Ian McKellen. Who
We just watched it.
yeah, and not Richard Harris, but the other famous Sir Richard O'Toole.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir Peter O'Toole. Peter O'Toole, he booked him on Letterman in the old days, and he had him ride in on a camel, and he said, "I'll only do it if you get a specific time of camel," and it was impossible. So I don't want to tell the whole story, but there's I think a fantastic Hollywood booking story about a camel and one of the most famous actors of all of our time.
This is awesome.
And it would be great if you could get that out of Daniel when and if he comes on the show. And I'm sorry again. I guess I'm just a jerk when it comes to talking
man,
and
it's
taking
part
over.
of the
Sorry.
one of the conversations I'm having, so it's clearly in the air. But camels are us.
It never used to be that way. It must have come with the desk. Oh, and that's been what's going on, Mrs. Ryan.
Oh my! Welcome back.
Holy crow. This new iPad is awesome, but things are whatever. It's a learning curve, so I'm trying to get it. I think it's going to be better, and I think in the end, Jeff's Ward will be happier because I think he'll be able to not have to look at it as much. It's a little bigger and it's far more tactile.
Oh.
So I hope Mr. Zwar will be happy about that.
Wow.
Mrs. Ryan, it's time to take a break, please. We have gone on and on and on way too long. Let's take a quick break. Let's get our guests in here. We've got Lukas Seely and Erick Esteban. I did that from memory because I can't find their card. They're going to be in here in just a few minutes, and that's it. More to come right after this. Late Night Playset. Come on back. Totally rusted already. Just bring it back. I love it.
Awesome.
All right, with that, we are back here, right? Aren't we? Yeah, we are.
I believe
Oh,
so.
good. Hi, Mrs. Ryan.
Hi.
All the
New
cameras are good?
equipment.
Yeah. We are sitting here with, okay, wait a second. Now I've got it screwed up. So wait, you're Lukas.
I'm Lukas,
Okay,
yeah.
Lukas Seely and Erick Esteban.
Yes.
All right, welcome you guys. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
I
for
want to
being here.
start with, how's that for an intro? Here's this guy and here's this guy. I want to start with who you guys are, why you guys are here today, and how you do something similar, and you're in comedy and all the. I just want to get to know you. It's really all it is. It's really
Sure,
all it is.
well,
There's no agenda.
Well, Lukas and I met on my podcast, Crazy Asianz.
Oh, it's your podcast.
Yeah.
You don't do it together.
Well,
Oh.
we did it one time together.
We did it one time
but
together.
I'm a one-night stand kind of guy. I do it once with one person every time. I'm a host. And then Lukas
So
is
that's
the
why
host.
you're like, it's your show, man. Whatever you want to do, just drive it.
Right. That's
Yeah.
kind of because that's how I roll. Like I told you, I force people to watch me dance for 20 minutes before we start.
And it's not hip hop, it's interpretive art dancing.
Oh, interpretive is the best.
Interpretive
that's
art
what he
dancing
calls
to
it.
Hank Williams.
Oh,
I
to
call
Hank
it
Williams.
art.
Yeah.
For
I
real?
call it art. No, it's a joke. It's totally a joke. That'd be really weird if, like, okay, well, before we podcast, I'm gonna do this interpretive dance. That'd be weird.
And it's 20
Weirder
minutes,
things
by the way.
happen.
That's
Don't
one thing. It's 20
Hey.
minutes long.
You know what? I have guests coming this afternoon. I might try it.
You should.
It'd be good energy. For
Yeah,
you, yeah.
yeah. You never
Yeah.
know. They might join in. Who cares? Let's
never know.
Like an
Well-
improv dance.
Let's just start there with what is Crazy Asianz Podcast.
Well,
And
crazy-
Esteban does not also sound like the most Asian.
well,
name
because
to
I'm
me.
Filipino, so we were colonized
Oh,
by
okay.
the Spaniards for 400 years, and my real name is Garcia, but Esteban is my father's name. So really, that's the explanation of that. Esteban is my dad's name.
I've got some confusing shit there too.
Yeah.
No need to unpack
it's,
it.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. Anyhow.
Unless you want to.
No. I mean, I did want to, because I did like the fact that it was Eric Garcia first, but then SAG told me I couldn't do that.
There was already one.
Yeah, there was
There's a
already
mayor and everything, right?
Yeah,
All sorts of stuff.
something like there's a whole bunch of Eric Garcias. Anyway, so then I did Erick Esteban, and there wasn't one. So there you go. That's how the name started.
Nice.
Yeah.
But the podcast.
But the
How did the podcast start?
is basically it started in May of last year or of this year. I'm sorry, May of this year for Asian American Heritage Month, and it was basically just I was bored, and I wanted.
Oh my God!
to,
All the best stuff starts this way.
Well, and also I didn't like going to open mics. I like just
You're
talking
both
about
comedians,
comedy.
right? We can say that.
Yes,
You're both
Yeah,
stand-up
we're both comedians, yeah.
And I like going to open mics sometimes, but I have 2 kids, so sometimes it gets hard to leave the house. So I like to invite my comic friends over, and we just write and just talk. And so it ended up being something that became on a regular basis, and I did it every week and every Friday. And then I get the creator and director of Big Sky Comedy Festival to come over. I mean, that's pretty awesome because
Pretty
So is
rad.
that how you met? You're because all right, we'll get to the Comedy Fest in just 1 second. But you were promoting the Comedy Fest on your podcast.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if he necessarily needed to promote it on my
Well,
podcast,
but you know what I'm saying.
But yes, definitely. I definitely think that. Well, because my podcast, we were lucky because we all share a wonderful friend, Nyla, and
said
That's how you're here
connected
today?
She
Oh, we
connected all
love
of us,
Nyla.
and she's just a wonderful lady.
She was a guest on the show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she reached out to me on my podcast. She had heard about it, and then we put together a comedy showcase. And then she's like, "You should reach out to Lucas." So then I did that, and then now here
So
we
she
are.
knew both of you guys and said you guys should probably put something together.
Yeah, well, she
That's
definitely she
awesome.
said you should definitely have Lucas on your podcast because, of course, Big Sky is Big Sky, and you know.
All right.
Yeah, I was.
So back to Montana then. Are you born and raised in
See how
Montana?
I segued it to you? See, I didn't.
Perfect.
We don't
Yeah,
even,
he sets me
work
up,
together.
man. We just vibe. She's like, he knew these guys would vibe together.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, born and raised in Montana, because that's where Asians hang out. is
Yeah, everybody knows that.
Montana.
Born and raised in, it said Billings?
Billings, Montana. Yeah, we got there because a church sponsored my family from Laos. We were put in a communist work camp, and then my parents escaped, and then we're in a refugee camp in Thailand.
Holy shit, what year is this?
This was in. They got there in
This is how all the best stories start.
1980. Yeah, so they escaped across the Mekong River, got to Thailand, was in a refugee camp, and my dad and my mom were like higher-ranking officers that were helping the U.S. government when
So
the
they had
U.S.
value.
government had the secret war there, and were doing a bunch of crazy things over in Laos that no one knows about.
Wow.
And so,
Podcast.
we got put on my parents got put on a higher list, and so we got to America faster, and it was a church in Billings, Montana that got us to America.
That's incredible. How old were you when that was going on?
I wasn't
Were
born
you
yet.
alive?
No.
Oh, you weren't alive.
No,
Okay,
all my
so you-
siblings. I'm the youngest of 6
Forgive me,
kids.
I'm old. No, we were alive.
Like I did the math. Like I'm not really good at math, but I'm kind of good.
But
I
you're
did the
Asian.
math of. I know, and I don't fit the stereotypes of it.
I am
That was
terrible
awful.
at math as well. Math, and my last math teacher was my junior high math teacher, and his name, straight up, you can look it in my yearbook, was Richard Haynes.
Oh, no.
Dick Haynes
yeah.
was his name. Geometry. Never once did I take another math class
No,
again.
no.
Math was not for me.
Yeah, it's not for me either. I had to take college algebra 3 times in order to graduate.
See,
That's so
Wait,
bad.
what was your
two
major that you needed?
non-stereotypical Asians right here.
Business.
Oh, and you need algebra for business?
Yeah.
It's a required
It was
credit?
a core class.
Oh.
It was my freshman year, failed it. Sophomore year, failed it. Had to retake it senior year, spring semester in order to graduate. And I was on the cusp of not making it. So what I learned in business is to send thank you cards to people. And so I sent my professor a thank you card right before the finals. Like, hey, thanks for all these years. I'm so glad I got to take your class 3 times. And then I got my degree. So it worked.
Gave you your welcome card.
But see,
Oh.
unbeknownst to most people, they don't know that he played football.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was a running
Played
back.
college football.
With a scholarship or how that?
Yeah, with scholarship.
Good for you.
That's how I ended up in Rocky Mountain College.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I don't
That's-
know. I don't know many
I didn't know
football
that.
scholarship people who turn to comedy. I
No,
don't know many
you're a
comedy people
conundrum
who
to
had
me.
a football scholarship at any point in their life.
Especially Asian.
Yeah.
Oh wow! You brought it up.
That's why you're a
Laotian
conundrum to me. Nothing makes
refugee
sense.
kid from Billings, Montana.
Yeah.
Montana.
Yeah.
And then he was a scholarship on football. Are you kidding
Yo,
me? That's
I'm-
crazy.
None of it makes sense. But that's me too, so I get it.
Yeah.
You played football too?
Close.
ice
Hang
hockey.
on, close. She was a swimmer in high school, and she was getting all sorts of offers for scholarships, and she was like, "Nah, I'll go to the school where they didn't give me one." And she decided to take up hockey there. Her family is from basically Canada, from Rochester, and they're all huge into hockey. So she started playing what became the varsity hockey team for University of Michigan. This girl on the ice.
What?
That's a big deal because Michigan hockey is a big deal there.
Boom.
Yeah.
She
My
is now.
my high school
Because I'm
fight
an
song is the
Midwest,
same as UM's.
No way.
Hail to the
Copyright.
victors,
Yeah.
valiant.
Oh, look at this, you guys! Unbelievable.
That's amazing.
So
I
yeah,
haven't heard that forever.
similar in that.
Yeah.
Breaking stereotypes all around. So, but I don't know how you get from football
That
and business to comedy and this guy?
I've always like, you wanna talk about digging deep and finding truth. Growing up in a white community, where there was a point, and I think I talked about this with you in podcasts, where there was a moment where I remember this specific moment so much, where I remember in grade school, some kids were making fun of me because of my skin color, right? And at the time, like, I'm a young kid, I don't know anything, and I'm like, well, this doesn't feel right. And I remember going home and washing my skin so hard to try to wash out the color of my skin because I felt so embarrassed. And I remember from that point, it was sports and making people laugh that made me feel accepted into this, to people that were a light skin to me. So I would always beat them in sports. I would race them. Was better than them at that. I was better than them at basketball. I was better than them at football. And then I would make people laugh to get them to like me, to forget the fact that my eyes are shaped differently than theirs, or my skin was different. So, like, digging deep into where all this really came from and looking at, like, why do I do comedy and why did I play football? It is because of those reasons. And it's like when I had that moment of, like, why do I do comedy? I'm like, oh, you just want to make people mad. It's fun.
Ego, right?
Yeah, it really, I looked at, like, my upbringing, and, like, my dad would always tell me, like, you got to work hard to be good because we're not from here, and these people are going to treat you a certain way if you're not good at whatever it is you're doing. Doesn't matter what it is, but they're going to treat you differently. And so you got to work hard to be better.
Overcome.
Mm-hmm. So that's
so
real.
That came from your dad.
That came from my dad and my mom. They're both really. We came to America with $5 US, and my parents are now, I don't want to say it, but they have a lot of money.
Well, it sounds like they worked for it.
Yeah, they worked really hard for it. And so, in comedy, like, me and my buddy created Big Sky Comedy Festival, and I didn't want to be like, let's just put a comedy festival together and put a bunch of shows and just call it a festival. I'm like, no, we're going to do this. We're going to make this different from what everyone else is doing.
This is a great opportunity to talk about what exactly is the Big Sky.
Big Sky Comedy Festival. Now it's a 6-day comedy festival.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
What did it start as?
I thought it was a long
Started
weekend.
as 3.
Yeah, long
3
weekend.
days. It used to be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, with 2 shows on Thursday, 2 shows Friday, and then the finale on Saturday. And then it was all competition based. And then each year we started adding shows because the competition portion of it was more to get the community of Billings to be like, hey, come out to this comedy competition.
Right.
And even though
get people interested.
Yeah, even though I do have that competitive side in me, I'm not really big on competing, especially in arts.
Agreed.
And so we slowly started adding more shows. Now there's more novelty shows than there are the competition portion. And on his podcast, I let him know, or let the people know that
Get a little preview of
that
2020.
in 2020 we're moving away from the individual. In the past we'd have one overall winner. We'd have the 8 finalists and then the overall winner, and they would get paid out X amount of dollars. But next year we're totally moving away from that format and creating a different format that I believe has not been done in the comedy world before. It's all gonna be team based. So it's kind of like, I guess in a way like the Olympics, where
It sounds like best ball. Like we're all competing for points, but it's
Yeah.
we're going for the best of our team.
yeah, everybody
I love
wants
this.
that teammate to do good. Where before, like, it was split into 2 teams, Team Augie and Team Seely. Augie Smith is from Billings, Montana as well, and he's a great stand-up comic. And so we would have our teams, but even though there would be 2 people like on Team Seely, when they're in the competition rounds, in a way that competitive side of people would be like, I kind of hope that person bombs so I can do good.
Of course. I mean,
You know what I mean?
Plus,
It's
comic
human
nature.
nature.
Yeah.
I think to think that way sometimes.
But
When
now,
you're on a
Comics
team, that's
specifically,
great.
too.
yeah, now you
Yeah.
want a team
Yeah.
like. I
By
feel
the way,
like
actually, you may teach people something about
Yeah.
another way to be. You're nodding. You think so the same.
No,
way.
Yeah.
because I like part of what I love about my own podcast is that I get to have people like Lukas on the show and get to hear his story and learn from him, because I've only been doing stand-up now for like 4 years. So it's not a thing that I haven't toured. I only did one show. Like, I had so much respect for Lukas because he did this comedy festival back in his hometown after making it out here. And I grew up in Chicago, and going home is a different thing. It's like, so I was able to go home right before I interviewed you. I was at home, and I did my Crazy Funny Asian show with the all Asian lineup in Chicago, and like marrying all of the whole experience together, like I could talk about it and go on. I'd probably start crying because it was so like eye-opening, and like this is like, you know, like when you see the path before you in front of you, and it's
the
like,
magic from the movie.
Oh, and you're like, oh, this is wow. This is where
it's the push pull and everything
yeah,
else, and oh my
like
gosh,
when
life
Wicked
makes
was
sense.
like, you are great, and Mad Mardigan was doing like that moment where you're like, ah.
Yeah.
And it's been that for like all of October and all of November and all of and it's kind of, I'm really excited for 2020 because it's a weird space I'm in right now.
I am.
I
Why did you say that? You said something and then you didn't say something.
No, I did. No, that's exactly what I felt like. I mean, it's in a weird. Because my daughters are my oldest daughter is turning 10, and my youngest daughter is 5, and like all these weird like 2020 and like
There's a lot of stuff in the
it's
atmosphere
a whole
these days.
bunch of things, and I'm real into numbers and just a weird. There's just a real confluence of a whole bunch of different energies, and I feel like next year is going to be a good thing for a lot of people.
I agree with you.
And
I can't base this on anything, but
I can't base
feeling.
it on anything, but just like just everything that's going on in my life and everything that's going on in, just.
It's like if we were kids and had an invisible friend. My invisible friend told me, you don't need to worry because it's all going to be okay.
Right, like that whole phrase.
Seriously, at the end of this month, everybody's going to get like blessings and like
For
all
real.
this stuff.
Like they say, it's darkest before the dawn. Like sometimes when it's really, like it's been really.
Yeah, people are afraid.
Bad. It's
people
really
are afraid to
kinda-
talk
you're
this way,
scared
though,
to-
so it's
you're
nice
scared
when
to say
somebody else
stuff.
does.
You're scared to do stuff, and I think it's going to be a different time soon.
I feel that way too. It's like the energy is, you can feel the energy shift.
In the world, like in the ether, right?
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
slowly but surely.
I'm one of those weird meditators, and I'm all about energies, but
You are?
yeah.
Yeah, we are too.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to be. We didn't used to be, but we are now, and we would never ever go back. You can't untake the pill.
Yeah.
It's different conversations. Like I was having an old work conversation, but applying new logic and the way we think now, and like talking about energy in a work conversation is typically weird.
Yeah.
But I was thankfully talking to somebody who got it, so it made sense. But I'm with you on that. Things are changing, and taking the team like competitive nature out of the equation, it doesn't mean that you don't want to do well.
Right.
And I think there's a misconception that taking that fight out of it, that's what that means. And it's like,
it's a different fight, and so the competitiveness, it shifts people's mind from, I want to do this because it benefits only me, and now we can change that thought to where I want to do well because I'm not going to help myself, but I get to help all these other people on my team, which in stand-up comedy has never really been that way.
never.
No.
So why can't it be? Why can't it be that our mind can shift and then we can work together? Because in the past it's been so more of, it's just an individual thing. But I'm like, I don't like that.
I find this so fascinating. I could talk to you about this subject alone forever and ever and ever. Do you think, when I got so excited about this concept, for a lot of people talked about, comedians, we're all in our own head. There's a narcissistic thing that just everybody has. It's all up here. You know
We
what I mean?
stand up
my
on
thoughts,
stage
my thoughts.
with a microphone in our hand. I mean,
Listen to my
come on,
thoughts. Listen to my thoughts.
come on.
It's a
Yeah.
crazy, kooky thing. So anybody who has that brain is already kind of like maybe a little bit different than everybody else. One of the life secrets I figured out, X amount of years ago, was that like once you stop playing for yourself and start playing for the team, your life gets exponentially better.
Yes.
And I mean so much. I mean the blessings we talked about and just people coming into your life, nothing but goodness. If you can turn that shit going on in comedy into that goodness, you're not going to only make a lot of careers. You're going to change the space.
Changed lives because it's different. Because
It's already changing lives.
well, yeah, because I see that in my podcast because we've been doing the podcast for a few months, and then Nyla approached me, and she asked me to do this showcase where she's like, how many all an all Asian showcase where how many Asians can you think you could get to, be in a show?
You're like, how
and
long's
do
the show?
2 minutes, and she's like, I'm like, how long do you want to stay?
That's the real answer, right?
Because I'm like, I could probably get you about 50, and she's like, no way, and I'm like, no, I'm for real. I could probably get.
What
you
did she
50.
think you would say? 5, 6, 10?
Maybe I don't know. I mean, I don't. I really don't know what number she was thinking.
But I mean, when I think of a showcase, I think of between 5, 6, 10.
Well, because she just said, how many Asians do you think you could get in a room to do 2 minutes of stand-up comedy? I'm like, well, that's kind of like an audition. So I probably get like 50 of them.
Yep.
And so
Calling all cars.
Just call everybody out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I put
All of them
put it
except
out
for
there,
me.
and
I'm like, hey,
everybody-
where's
Well-
my invite?
And everybody submit. And then when I told him about it, he was like, you got. I didn't know. Like,
I didn't even
think
know
I
that
got
many
40
Asians.
I don't think I got 40 Asians to submit to Big Sky.
Wow.
And then when he said that, it like opened my eyes, because what we did in the show was I had my DJ, and they would play him off at 2 minutes no matter what, just because Nyla has the 2 minute rule. Because on AGT, if you're auditioning for AGT, you got to do 2 minutes.
That's
gonna
what
to
you
commercial.
have.
If you run the light, you're gonna go off. You go to commercial, right?
See you later. Yep.
So that's how we set it up, and we set it up almost like a game show. But then we ended up having like 150 people in the audience just watching.
Where'd you
and,
do
like,
it?
At the Brew Yard in Glendale. So it was like capacity. We were packed
Whoa.
in there, and the energy in there was so wonderful. Everybody did great. And then I was expecting, when you do a casting, you're like, oh, maybe you got like 1 or 2 people. Nyla, how many people you think you're going to call in? I'm thinking about 15 out of these.
Wow.
No way. That's
Whoa.
awesome.
33,
real?
like over 30%.
And
That's
then it just started, like you said, once you reach out and you open yourself up to the community, it's a different thing. Like for me, I'd always been, let me push my stand-up video. Let me, narcissistic, self-promotion, right? And now now Asian comics are coming up to me like asking me for advice because I put together this showcase, and apparently it was the largest all-Asian showcase ever. Nyla said, you made history. And I was like,
Whoa. Call the book.
oh, okay. I mean,
Congratulations.
And the thing for me was all I wanted to do was do a good show. Like, I just wanted to put on a good show with all Asians, and it ended up being this really cool thing. And now...
Good product comes out of that, not competitive. Like taking that out of the
just-
equation, like
it's not,
letting...
it's not a, everybody's, I say it a lot because when I grew up watching Red Fox on TV.
Oh, man.
And I grew up watching Richard Pryor and listening to Bill Cosby and watching Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
And they were all...
We had the same childhood.
Yeah. But I mean, I remember the Brown Hornet being one of the first minority superheroes I saw on Fat Albert. Like, all the bad stuff he did, sure, but I mean, like the stuff he did back then that influenced me, I can't.
Picture
take that
pages
away.
and everything else.
Yeah, all of it, and then I say it in my podcast because everybody talks about Joe Coy or like some of the one Asian comic here, the one Asian comic there, and I'm like, there can be so many, there can be all of us, and whoever's funniest rises to the top, and that's what I felt, that energy at that night when you had 40 of the best Asian comics in LA doing their thing.
How did you feel after Nyla said, "Hey, congratulations, you just like broke a record"? I mean, an unofficial record.
Well, it was a trip because I started the October is Filipino American History Month.
Okay.
So I started tweeting in October 1st. I said,
Clever, smart.
Let's do. Yeah, I know, right?
Straight up good marketing.
Almost presidential. But I was tweeting and I said, this Filipino American History Month, let's make some history.
Oh.
And then I did. And it was kind of a trip.
It's just
a
like all,
manifestation.
just all coming together.
and
You
then-
put it out there.
What was
That's
the coolest part for me was like I was hoping that my next level of stand-up comedy was to start submitting to the comedy festivals. And then when Nyla suggested that Lukas do my podcast, I'm like,
This is fortuitous.
okay, I'll DM him and see if he even responds. And then, for real, because you just never know, I don't know, because you sometimes you reach out to big comics and they don't. They don't
Also, we're
respond.
our own worst critic up here. Like, why would you want to do my show?
True, right? Well, why would he want? Why?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I reached out and he hit me back like instantly and it had a cool conversation and now wewe're here talking.
This
to
is
you
amazing.
guys.
So I thought you guys both hosted
See,
the show
'cause the
together.
chemistry was
I
so
thought-
good on the show.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
but Nyla sort of almost pitched you as like a duo. So, because you are great together, you're tossing back and forth and everything. What are you guys going to do together in the future?
We're gonna
You
hold
should
hands
do
when we walk
something.
to our
You're gonna
cars
do
after this.
something.
We're gonna be married.
I'll be your kid stepdad.
No, I'm hoping to work with.
But you know what I'm
Lukas
saying?
on a
Like,
lot of
what
stuff.
you guys should do something together. You're very good together, and this seems to be a good format for you too.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys host
Let's
a
figure
show
something
together?
out, bro.
Well, hey,
It's
look,
a neat organic way to build the community you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Well, and
And/or if we can be of any help or
I
service
look,
in general.
see again. I'm in a space where I'm just receiving all this cool energy. So whatever you guys want to do, I'm down for. Look, I'm sitting in this chair where whoever was sitting.
Everybody.
I mean,
Everybody.
everybody sat
Everybody.
in. It's. I always love like when I go to old UCB or I go to the Groundlings and you feel the history of the spot. You know,
No
you can
doubt.
feel it when you walk in. You feel the whole thing, comedy store.
We know what you
and-
mean.
You
Yeah,
want to know about a feeling of like old history?
Yeah.
At the Glendale Mall, do you know that's the first Panda Express that ever opened?
No. You mean like it was just
For
a
real?
standalone?
Yeah.
It was a standalone hut or something?
No.
First of all, okay, because I have a sketch idea that I'm now going to shoot on my iPhone 11 because I saw that video. Did you see this video
Whole
with
film,
this,
yeah.
with the dude where he shot the snowball fight?
Yeah.
The guy from
Yeah,
John
John
Wick
Wick, yeah.
shot the
Wick.
snowball fight with his iPhone.
Saw it this
I'm going to
morning.
go shoot my comedy sketch with my iPhone 11 at this first
Yeah.
Panda Express.
It
ever.
all started the first. It was called Panda Inn. Was the name of the actual restaurant.
And in, sure.
Yeah, and then
Before they turned to fast food.
Yeah, and then they had an opportunity. You know, it was just a regular restaurant, and the owner's wife, co-owner, whatever you want to call her, she was in business and analytics, so she understood like
Numbers and marketing,
numbers and
boxes
stuff.
and checking.
So she was one of the pioneers, as you would say, for what we call now fast casual dining, where you start one way and you work your way down. She was the one who helped
Cafeteria
innovate
style?
that. Yeah, she's the one who
Wow.
helped
That's
innovate
pretty
that
cool.
because it was all about timing and like the food and all that stuff. Like she figured it out.
Instead of the food being the conveyor belt, the people become the conveyor belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom.
Food is
Smart.
stations instead. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she took a concept like that's why Chipotle's format, the fast casual, is the way it is now, where you just go down the line and deet. Well, yeah, they just had an opportunity to open up one in Glendale Mall at the Galleria.
And so when you go to the original Glendale Mall, you get these feelings?
Yeah, that's why there's two of them in there.
That's almost like going to like
Wait, what? What do you mean that's why there's two
that's
of them?
Asian American
I don't know.
history. Right?
There is two of them in there. There's two. There is two of them, but I'm
So
just
which
like
one is the one?
the
that's-
main one is downstairs,
Okay,
and
so
it's
the-
like
Is
the
it
busiest
still a
one.
Panda Inn or is it a Panda Express?
It's Panda Express. So they called it Panda Express. The new Panda Inn, they remodeled it.
New
There's
Panda Inn. Now it's getting too combobulated.
actually me and Nyla went there to eat dinner one time. It was when she first told me her and her is it fiance now or just boyfriend still? Do
I
you know?
think
that
it's-
they're expecting?
that
Yeah.
they're Yeah, how cool is that Nyla announced on my podcast that she was pregnant?
That's where?
Was
That's what
it?
she told-
Kidding.
Yeah, she
That's awesome.
she said that it was cool to
Is
tell,
she Asian? What's going on? here?
she's Pakistani descent, so that's technically
Oh,
South
sure,
Asian.
okay.
So yeah, she that was the coolest part about it was she's like I don't have a lot of Asians around me, so she specifically wanted to have more, and
That's amazing.
so she reached out, and like I said, it was a trip to me because I've only been doing this for a few months, and
How many podcasts do you have? How many have you done?
this right
32,
I'm on
right?
29.
29.
No,
That's
I'm on
okay.
29.
It's impressive.
And
In only a couple
some,
months.
And some of the folks that I've had, it's kind of a trip because, like, episode 3 was Kelvin Han Yi, the first Asian American man to kiss a white lady on a movie screen in a feature film,
Which
in the
becomes a
80s.
huge deal.
And it's
for
true.
him.
And then
That's
he ended
awesome.
up telling a story about how he used to improvise with Robin Williams,
Oh boy.
and I'm like, what the. What?
So it's a superpower.
Really? And I'm like, wow. And then I have John Briones, who was one of the 15 Filipinos who were plucked from the Philippines in the original cast of Miss Saigon.
Seriously?
Yeah, him and Lea Salonga. And then John, 25 years later, went from the ensemble to playing the engineer in the main role, and then he was in the 25th anniversary with Jonathan Pryce back and forth.
I was gonna say I knew
in London.
I knew the New York show very well because it was literally right across the street from this.
Oh man,
literally.
And so like all these different guests are coming, and friends who do TV shows and all these different things, and because there's not many Asian American artists out there, whether it be comedy, acting, theater, directing, there's not a lot. So when we're all kind of connected in some way. So just reaching out, everybody kind of wants to tell their story on the show, and it's been so cool because
it was a necessary forum. It sounds like.
I think
it sounds
so.
like you plugged a hole.
I think it was something like a lot of friends have kept telling me that this is something that, well, in Chicago after I did the show with the all Asian lineup, and we sold out before I got there, which was
nice.
That's awesome.
That's nice.
It was kind of a trip.
You're doing your radio, your local radio, and
Not
everything, being
even-
like,
I
"Oh,
mean,
it's
we
all
didn't even
sold
do that.
out."
It was all just internet. It was all just internet promo.
Oh wow!
And
Well, I guess you didn't need to because it was all sold.
Yeah, it was.
What was the venue at?
It was
Carl's Jr.
Well, because I started. Yeah, it was.
Filled it
It
up.
was on the corner. No, because I started out in theater in Chicago. I started out in improv and theater, and Collaboration was starting out. Was a big. It's like a big urban theater company now in Chicago, but it was just starting out when I was just starting out, and so we did a lot of shows together. I'd help load in and help them move in and out of spaces, and they were my homies. And so when they saw me producing shows out here, the artistic director reached out and he's like, "Hey man, what's up? You don't want to do shows in Chicago anymore?" And I'm like, "No, I
Didn't know that
And
was
he's
an
like, and so then
opportunity.
he's like, here's an 80-seat space and here's a date and come on."
That's
and I was
awesome.
like, and it
Wow.
was really. I bought these shoes
For that show?
For the
No,
show or after
afterwards.
the show?
After the show at the Nike Town in
So
Chicago.
this is the physical.
These walked the streets of Chicago for like the day after the show, and I.
But these are also the physical attachment.
This is
and
the-
proof.
yeah,
this is the
yeah,
receipt for that
Yeah, this
transaction.
is I'll never get rid of these shoes. These shoes forever. Like,
Does every color make you think
Yeah.
of certain things? Like this is lumpia right here,
look, man,
pancet.
See, he always wants to go back to that because he has a challenge at the end of my podcast where he challenged Joe Coy's mom.
Yeah, my family's known for egg rolls. In Billings, Montana, the egg rolls.
I'm still waiting to hear from Joe. He hasn't said anything.
He
I
hasn't said
tweeted
anything?
at him. He didn't say nothing yet.
Please keep going because Mrs. Ryan and I are both New Yorkers who have been trying for 20 years to find an egg roll out here. So please
Yeah.
keep talking.
There's not that many good ones out here, but I can make you guys one. In Billings, Montana, when we were
making it,
at
you need more than one.
the church that I told you guys that sponsored my family would have a potluck every month, and my parents were just like, "All right, well, we'll make these egg rolls," and everybody loved them. They're like, "These are so good, you should."
Probably never had anything like that.
Yeah, like you should sell these. And so every month they would put in these orders, and my mom would make a bunch of them at home and like deliver by the dozens. And then they're like, you should like maybe get a food truck or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we got a food truck 32 years ago was the first time that it opened.
No shit.
Yeah, and then it's just become so popular in Billings, Montana that like they only do it now from May to October, but everybody, even all the comics that I bring, like I, book headliners like Steve Byrne, Bobby Lee, Louis Anderson, they all love my mom's egg rolls. Like Steve Byrne, he bought like boxes after the show to take back to the hotel to eat. He's like, your mom's egg rolls are the best. Like,
Yeah, I would do that. If we
And
were there, I would
so-
totally buy a box of
At
your
the
mom's
end
egg
of
rolls
my
and take it back and eat.
podcast, Lukas challenged Joe Coy because Joe Coy swears by his mom's lumpia, and I like lumpia, but I also like a good egg roll, so I'm good with either. I can be the regulator between the two. I can be the judge, and we could even do like a cooking show on Big Sky.
You're just grateful. You're
There's
just
my
grateful. I
son.
love it. I love
I'm
it.
just happy to be here,
Absolutely. You're
bro.
receiving
Yeah.
it. It's so great. You deserve it, brother. I love it. I didn't mean to cut you
Someone
off.
saw
No,
Joe Coy
please.
at a coffee bean near us, so who
I
knows?
have no idea who this is. Joe Coy.
He's a comedian. He has a special on Netflix, but I don't know him other than that, really.
Joe Coy is kind of like, I mean, you go.
yeah, he's
worked with him before.
he's a
if
big
I
comedian.
don't know him, it doesn't mean anything about him. I'm just totally.
He's,
I'm a
I mean,
weirdo.
he's one of the hardest working. He sells out. He broke a number in Hawaii for most tickets sold in a weekend or something like that. He sells out.
He's doing the
everywhere.
Staples Center in February.
Oh wow.
He's
No
doing a
shit.
Staples Center.
Yeah, he
for
announced it on
him.
Twitter. When I saw it, I was like, wow.
Yeah,
The
that's.
Staples
Yeah,
Center?
he's like at that level of like
big
he's
room.
getting very close to Kevin Hart
Dear
level.
Lord.
Where
I
he's
worked with him before he was famous too. We worked on that fucking pilot. Chris O'Dowd wasn't famous either. Then he got Bridesmaids, and then he blew up. It's so funny. Kevin Hart was just a little guy trying really hard to make it. He was always working that hard.
Folks that we worked with that are all blown up now, and it's like, wow.
Thank you for bringing that up. Mrs. Ryan, I wanted to add something to your news. Did you hear about the new hosts of Top Gear USA announced today?
No, who is it?
Well, I only know two of them, and one, but you know both of them. One is Dax Shepard, which is
Dax Shepard?
awesome. Yep, amazing and awesome.
Top Gear?
Top Gear USA.
Oh, that's perfect for him.
That's
BBC Top
perfect
Gear USA.
him.
Perfect,
It is
yeah.
because he's a total car guy.
Yeah.
And it also kind of like, because Dax will kind of like make it more for young folk. I mean, really, like most folks like, I know who Dax is. He's cool, dude.
Yeah. And then the other one, somebody we know very well, Rob Corddry.
No kidding.
I'm not joking you. Rob Corddry, host of Top Gear USA.
That's
Congratulations, Rob Corddry.
good job, you guys.
Most people know him from Hot Tub Time Machine. He's on Ballers and many
Children's
things
Hospital
now. He was the creator of
and
Children's Hospital.
my family's shop, Broome Street General Store in Silver Lake, because I met
He
Rob
lives over-
Corddry.
yeah.
He's come.
Or used to
That's
live over
Rob
there.
Corddry's the bomb. He's a cool dude.
She worked with him for years and years
Such
and years.
a good dude.
Yeah. We're
Great
both
family.
those guys.
Great family.
That'll be a
Great
really
family.
fun show, those two.
I think so too. I can't wait to watch
That's
it.
a good show.
And bridging the gap between comedy and cars. Hello.
Yeah, they're the ones that do it for sure. They're both everymen that like really love car stuff and educatedly know how to talk about it from multiple perspectives.
Do you know how many times I tried to get Rob to come to the track with me in the old days when we had the same car? Remember we both had the 335 duded up, whatever the fuck. So funny. I don't remember how we got on that, but thank you for that segue, 'cause I forgot to mention it before.
I wanted to mention that I saw all those Porsches and stuff on the other videos, and I've always coveted a Porsche.
Yeah.
I've never had one.
We have a very old one that's not old enough to be expensive.
Okay, well then I'm not gonna.
We have one that we just love because it's like Herbie the Love Bug. It
Well,
wants to go anywhere and it just takes us everywhere.
I don't really like. I'm not a car guy very much, but there was one car that I had on my wall when I was a kid. It was a Porsche.
Really?
Yeah, Porsche 911.
The poster? Oh,
yeah.
of course.
Yeah, it was beautiful. White Porsche. Felt like I'd wear it, with no socks and do it.
The Miami Vice thing?
Yeah, bro. I was alive in the 80s.
Yeah, that's right.
You know
It
what
was.
my next car would be if I just had money to like, I'm just going to have one of those cars I can just drive around for like fun.
Let's hear it.
64 Impala, son. Hydros, son.
Son.
Oh,
Wow.
he was directing the sun to me.
Oh,
He was
well, then
directing the sun. Got it? You know what I would drive?
well, let's hear it.
I want one of those Tesla trucks.
That's what I thought he was going to say.
I
The
want one of those.
Cybertruck.
No way, man.
Yes, not because of
Those things are
anything else, but it just
ugly.
doesn't look like anything. I know it's ugly. I like the fact that it's ugly. I
get-
like it. It looks like I don't even know what it looks like. It look like, you know what it looks like? It looks like that the truck in Aliens 2 where he's like, game over, man, game over. I'd sit in the back of the fucking bed of the truck and be like, game over, man, game over, and just laugh and be giggling to myself, and I'd just be happy. I would sit in the garage and do that.
I went the same way, but instead of Aliens, I went, to me, it's Tango and Cash. Do you remember Tango and Cash with that freaking thing? Now, I knew the guy who owned the real thing, and they did that fucking windshield that
They
same
did?
way. Yeah.
Tango and
Now, who were the guys? It was Rocky. It was
Sylvester Stallone and Kurt
Patrick-
Russell.
Oh, Kurt Russell. that's
And
it.
a very young, beautiful, taut Terry Hatcher.
No way.
Yes,
Seriously?
I
Lois?
memorized that movie. I loved, and it was Victor Palance as the villain, and he had the rats.
He did have the
He
rats. I
had the
remember
rats,
that.
and
It
they put him in a
trying to be
maze.
James
and two of them,
Bond-like.
like, one is Tango and one is Cash, and they put him in a maze.
wow.
I have a stupid memory with movies. It's
So
like
do
all,
I, but-
all my stand up is all just references the movies that I've seen.
I love it. I can't
Really?
wait to see you.
Yeah, all of it is.
I tried to do that. I freaking bombed so hard. I tried to make a reference to Ninja Turtles and Spider-Man with Sam Raimi, the ones that he directed.
Yeah.
No one got it.
Honestly, I like because all my stuff.
Like you're probably good at it. I'm just saying, like me personally,
No,
like I
no,
suck
because
at
all
it.
my stuff is. Because I started doing stand up, writing a one man show. It was called the Fight Club for One, and it was just all my one man stories. And my friend from Chicago, Lucky Seely, asked me to do all of it without the drama. He's like, just do that without the drama, and then do stand up at my comedy festival here in Chicago. And that was my debut in stand up. And I don't even know where I'm going with this, but I lost my train of thought.
We're talking about movies and
Oh no, yeah. So basically, like a lot of it is just that hashtag representation matters.
Huh.
That's kind of all. That's my theme for everything, for all of it. Even all the plays that I write, all the things that I do, like all of it is that. Because when I see when you see yourself in something, it's powerful, right? And so the one joke that I wrote that made me kind of go on this tangent, and it's kind of got me the most traction, is like when you watch Return of the Jedi. Right when they're trapped in the net,
Sure,
when
the audience
Chewbacca has
will
caught the
follow.
net, and they're all
Chewbacca's caught in
Han
the
Solo
net?
and C-3PO and R2-D2 and Luke Skywalker, and they're all caught in the net, and then R2-D2 cuts them loose. Right, they're on the moon of Endor, and they all fall down, and C-3PO falls down, and they're all there, and then they're surrounded by Ewoks with spears, and it's a lot of gibberish, like and you don't really understand any of what the Ewoks are saying. And then C-3PO rises from the bushes.
The annoying one?
The golden
Yeah.
golden robot, the beautiful golden
The original
robot.
Jar Jar.
Rises from the bushes, and then one Ewok distinctly says exactly this. He says, "Ayun, maganda." Now that means, in Tagalog, "Hey, look over there. That's beautiful."
Wow.
And what I realized when I saw that is that Ewoks are Filipino.
Ah, look at that.
That's
Who
my
knew?
reference to see.
That's amazing.
Representation matters.
It does matter. It's like,
I
you
bet
know,
that would play in an Asian show.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like, what's the one Asian representation we know? That's the one.
then
it's
they
true.
freak
It's like when you were growing up, like what you see is like that's possible, right? When you
Yeah.
see, I guess, yourself. So like, you know, I love kung fu movies, and obviously, of course, you gotta love Bruce Lee.
Of course.
And what made seeing Bruce Lee? So when that movie came out, do you remember Dragon?
Bro, I can do the whole scene for you with the accent. Don't concentrate on the finger. The heavenly goal.
But
I'm just-
seeing that movie Dragon, right? And seeing Bruce Lee's story.
Oh, that the with
And the
Jason Scott Lee, the
Yeah,
autobiography.
the
Oh my God,
autobiography,
I cry every
and
time.
seeing that
Yeah.
movie and seeing the fact that he married a white girl inspired me so hard.
Me too.
That's why you married one.
I married a white girl.
Really?
Also, yes, and also a college girlfriend told me that she was in love with me, but we were never going to get married because
And
she
then-
wanted to marry a white guy because she wanted to have mixed kids.
Oh my goodness gracious!
It's the truth.
We're trying to wrap it up now. Holy crap! Put that away. Save it for next time. Let's unpack that on the show next time. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, when white girls would be like, "Hey, you know, it's not good for white people to date Asians," I would play them that movie. So like, see, it's okay. Bruce Lee did it,
I would tell
and like her mom, his mother-in-law came around.
I would tell them that Bruce Lee is half Filipino, and then I would also tell them, if they didn't believe that, I would tell them that Keanu Reeves was half Filipino, and then I'd get him because Keanu Reeves was hot back in the day,
Yeah.
and now.
Yeah,
still.
it is
Yeah,
now.
that was pretty hot.
Yeah, still.
Sorry about that. I had a technical thing because I didn't plug a camera in. It should have unplugged the whole bit. Anyway.
Shout out to Keanu.
I think we're good now. You guys are just absolutely delightful. I had no idea what to expect today, and I totally enjoyed it. I hope you did too.
Yeah.
Are we going to see you again? Where are we going to see you? What's happening with you guys? Can we follow you on social media?
Lucas is all over.
Now is a great time to do the segment we call Billboard. Go ahead over there to camera 4 and tell us
Tell us
anything.
everything.
Tell us wherever we can find you.
Just go to my website, LukasDude, LukasDude.com. Has all my socials, videos, my calendar for where I'm going to be at, all that stuff.
And your festival's every October?
Every October, yeah.
Okay.
So
FYI.
Billings, Montana.
Billings, Montana. For comics that watch this, we open submissions in May, maybe April this year.
Okay.
Give more people time, but we usually give them about 3 months for submission time. But I don't know, the format's gonna be different, so I don't know how we're gonna do submissions this year.
You're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
What about social media? You guys on the social media?
Yep, Lucas
What's your handle?
at Lukas Seely, LukasSeely.
And I am at Miscellaneous Brown. That's That's my Instagram. Just follow me at Miscellaneous Brown. You can
I love it.
everything else. Don't worry about it.
So good.
Miscellaneous Brown. I don't even know what that could possibly be referring to. I don't get it. In fact, I don't get it.
This is my 20-year career. Miscellaneous Brown.
I thought it meant to like. What is that? No.
Oh, just Miscellaneous
Could
Brown.
be that. Whatever you want. It's a Miscellaneous Brown.
I like that. Where do you perform? Do you perform a lot in town?
Yeah. Either at the Haha close by here.
by here, yeah.
The Ice House a lot in the Comedy Store.
Or do you play in town too?
I do my show every month, Miscellaneous Brown's Karaoke Comedy Spectacular at the Brew Yard in Glendale.
Oh, okay, at the same place.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then what about your podcast?
My podcast is just Crazy Funny Asians with a Z, pluralize it with a Z.
Available anywhere
Because
podcasts are
I'm
available.
urban, yeah, and
Because I'm
everywhere,
urban.
everywhere they're available. Miscellaneous Brown and Crazy Funny Asians.
I love it. I love it. Are you guys good? Did you enjoy this experience?
Yeah, it was a
Loved
great
It's
time.
great.
Yeah, it
It's
was fun.
You guys are both very cool and natural at this. I want to see you hosting something together. I want to see you do something together because I like this duo. Don't
Agreed.
you?
Yeah,
We're
I
gonna-
really do.
No, no, we're gonna do a buddy cop
And Nyla
film.
knows what's up because she
For
knew
real,
to put
no.
it-
A buddy cop film.
I
Buddy
trust
cop
her
film. Why not?
immensely.
Ooh,
She
I
knows
love
what's
that.
Because
up.
he's a
That's a great
little more
idea.
serious than I am, and I could be like the goofy guy, and he could be the guy that drives the Porsche.
He's more serious than you.
Yeah, he's R&B. He's a running back. He
But-
busts through the offensive line.
Have you not seen my
like
stand-up?
bitch
I'm
the
not
other
that
way.
serious. I talk about McDonald's.
Yeah, no. Nothing about anything about him.
I just
serious.
have mad respect because he's a running back. Sweetness, Asian sweetness.
All right, well, Mrs. Ryan, thank you guys both for being here.
Thank you
so
guys
much.
for having us. Appreciate
Lukas
it. Thank you
Seely
so
and
much.
Erick Esteban. Mrs. Ryan, who do we have tomorrow? Because it's time for us to wrap it up. The right card here.
I forget the first name, but I know the spelling of the last name is ASSA. I had to look it up.
Okay. Someone is here tomorrow. It's a comedian, though, tomorrow,
Yes.
right? Yeah. And then Thursday, we've got John Benton here. So that'll be really good to talk about all the things he's been dealing with lately. All the people in the Porsche world
Can't
know
wait to
John
see
Benton.
that guy.
So I love you, Mrs. Ryan, so very much. Happy birthday to
Happy
you.
birthday!
Thank you.
Big deal. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you being here. We love you as well. And we love
Thanks for
everybody
having
at
us on
home.
your birthday.
We love
And
everybody at home.
Of course.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Of course.
Oh, love everybody at home, and please love one another. We'll see you soon.
You edit each camera from there, right? That's so because I saw you doing that, and my buddy has that same type of thing on his iPad, and I'm like, wow, you're cutting it live and cutting each